Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 118. In this episode, I talk about this one thing that most people do not do, and it keeps them stuck, it keeps them stagnant, and it keeps them from advancing and having the life that they truly want. If you are feeling stuck, if you are feeling stagnant, if you are feeling like you're doing all the things, spinning your wheels, and you're really perplexed as to why you still don't have what it is you want to listen to this episode, because this is not mainstream thought. It's not something that you're going to learn in a lot of courses from a lot of coaches, but you will learn it here. So if you can't wait to find out, you want to listen to this episode in its entirety, I can't wait to share this with you. So stay tuned. Hello, fire goddesses. Welcome to the Reclaim Your Fire podcast. My name is Angela Noel, and I am a prosperity coach for the newly awakened or awake curious, driven overachiever, and overdoer. After running a successful acupuncture practice in Boston for 12 years, I decided to hang my hat by closing the practice and pursue what it is that I'm really meant to do in this world, and that is to serve humanity online on a global scale. Using my background in Chinese medicine, along with the brain science of habits, spirituality, and divine masculine and feminine energy balance, I am here to help you not just understand, but know how powerful you are, and that you are the person who is responsible for having the finances, inner peace, radiant health, and energy, aka the fire, in your life that you've always desired. My intention with this podcast is to serve humanity, no matter what gender you identify as, to help bring out the divine feminine goddess in each and every one of you. As you probably are already aware, the world is changing and is begging for the goddess to come out in each and every one of you. So, fire goddesses, stay tuned. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Reclaim Your Fire podcast. My name is Angela Noel, and I am the host of this podcast, and thank you so much for listening. In this episode today, I want to discuss something that a lot of people don't really realize, that they are missing this one thing when it comes to attracting and manifesting the life that they want. And when talking to people, it's often a conversation that involves something like this. I don't understand why I still don't have X, Y, and Z. So, for example, if you're looking to attract a partner, or if you're looking to attract a certain amount of income in your business, or if you're looking to attract even ideal health, and if you're somebody that is always doing and doing and doing and doing when it comes to trying to manifest what you want, and it just seems like your plans always backfire. Chances are, if you start to really examine your life, you will realize that you are missing this one thing that you're not doing. I find it really important to talk about this because it's not something that's in the norm of conversation. Usually when things aren't working out in life, people are like, well, I don't get it. I'm doing everything. And I want to discuss this. It's kind of, it's not a secret. I don't think it is at all a secret, but it's just not part of mainstream thought, because our mainstream thought processes often involve doing. And as you know, this podcast is all about being. Who do you need to be in order to have the life that you want? So let's dive into this a little bit more. But before I go forward about what this thing is, because I know you're dying to know, I want to chat a little bit about Chinese medicine philosophy. Because with Chinese medicine, I love it because it really speaks to the balance of the universe, the balance of the masculine and feminine, or the yin or the yang energies, in order to have flow state. And let's face it, we all want to be in flow state. I do believe that deep down we all want to feel like we are in flow, however that looks like for you. But for most people, being in flow state means that you have ideal health, that your mind is like water and you're free of distraction, that you are feeling creative in whatever you want to create. Even if you don't consider yourself a creative person, chances are you're creating something, even if it's at your 9-to-5 job. You're feeling free, you're feeling like you're not blocked. And that is when the universal energy of chi is in balance. There's not too much of this one thing. There's not too little of the other thing. Everything is in balance. And the human body, even when it's not totally considered healthy, the human body, as long as it has enough chi within it, is going to strive for that balance, is going to strive for homeostasis. And it's going to do whatever it needs to do in order to achieve that balance or to achieve that homeostasis. And that's why a lot of times we develop symptoms, because the symptom is just showing us that something is out of balance and we need to work on that. So with that in mind, when you think about when the chi is blocked, and I've talked about this in other episodes, but when chi flow is blocked, it's going to affect our circulation. It's going to affect our blood flow. And when we don't have that flow of chi and blood, that's when we get symptoms. Again, lack of balance. So I often like to talk about the idea of sitting in a traffic jam. I mean, chances are most people don't like sitting in long traffic jams. And it can become very infuriating. It can also bring up emotions such as impatience, anger, irritability when sitting in traffic. And when you think about the highway, like the ideal state of being on a road or being on a highway, you think about just being able to drive without having to stop. You're just driving, you're looking out the window, maybe you have your windows down, there's a nice breeze blowing into your hair, and all is well with the world, because you're getting from point A to point B without any obstruction, without any stagnation. You're getting to your destination in flow, and that's the same thing for the body. So with that in mind, and knowing that we as humans living in our human bodies require this flow and we require this balance, I want to chat about another area of life that is often left out of the equation when it comes to achieving this balance, and is often a big block or a big stagnation when it comes to having the life that you want and living the life of your dreams. And that is the idea of reciprocity, giving back, or the balance, I should say, not necessarily giving back, but it actually, reciprocity describes a balance of giving and receiving. So if you tend to be more of a giver, and you're giving, and it could be you're giving physical gifts, you're giving out your time and energy, and you consider yourself more of a giver. And I want to just touch upon this in a little more detail too, because a lot of people don't realize that they fall into this category when they are somebody who is more of a giver and they are just giving away their energy left and right. Right? So that could be the dynamic we often see in a relationship where there are no boundaries set, or a toxic relationship where there are no boundaries set. You are basically taking on this person's energy and you are giving your energy to them subconsciously, right? This is the dynamic of people pleasing, and you are getting nothing in return. So these relationships often leave you feeling exhausted, cranky, irritable, because basically you have no chi, you have no life force left, because this person And I don't want to say this person is taking it away from you, because basically I feel like that comment just speaks to victim mentality. And that puts you in the role of a victim. And when you're in the role of a victim, it leaves you helpless. So really, toxic relationships are the result of not establishing any boundaries for yourself, not loving yourself. And I feel like a lot of people get stuck into this dynamic and they don't even know it. So that puts you more into like a giver role. But it could also be, like I mentioned earlier, you're the person that's always giving gifts. Or you might be trying to give in order to please somebody else, and you're not receiving anything in return. So there is that dynamic, and then there's the other dynamic of the taker. You're the person that is always taking from somebody else. And, I want to say, I don't think that a lot of people are consciously takers. I think it's a very subconscious habit, where it comes from this feeling that you are not enough and that you are not worthy. And as a result, you become a taker. So you might be a person that is always looking for something for nothing, right? It's one thing if you're trying to be mindful of the money you're spending, but you're taking in other ways, such as trying to get things for free all the time. Like you're always trying to get something for nothing without paying for it. Or you might message somebody that you know that's in business and say, hey, can I pick your brain about something? And then you take the information, you implement the information into your life or to your business, and you never show that person that gave you that information any kind of gesture in exchange, whether it be you send them a gift certificate for lunch, or you send them a Starbucks gift card, or you send them a little bit of money through PayPal, or you invite them over for dinner. It doesn't have to be a monetary gift. It doesn't have to be a physical gift. What this is about is where your heart is, right? You don't give to get, but you give from an open heart. So a lot of times in the beginning, when people are on this journey and they realize they're either a giver or a taker, or they can also be a matcher, right? This is the type of person who will give to get. I'm going to send you $500 and I expect you to return that to me because I did this for you, right? So there's this expectation that by you giving, that person is going to return the favor. So you don't give for that reason in either. You get into the vibration, into the highest frequency and vibration of joy and love and appreciation and gratitude, and you give from that place. But you never ever give with the expectation that you are going to receive something. So another thing that I want to add about this that is often very overlooked, and I feel is foundational to reciprocity, is the idea that you must give to yourself first. That you must give to yourself first. I'm repeating that because it is such an important concept. Basically, what you want to do is fill your cup. Or it might mean that you need to empty your cup, right? And empty your cup of toxic behavior and habits, or you might actually need to clean your house before you start filling your cup. Because this is an awareness that I've had in the last few months, is that we talk about filling our own cup. But before we can do that, we often need to empty out the junk first before we start filling on top of the dirty, toxic cup that we already have. Does that make sense? So I want to just, that's a side note, and I want to just drive that in, because we're talking about filling your cup, that you need to be able to start with a clean cup first before you can fill your cup. And then when it comes to reciprocity, you want to be in the frequency of loving and honoring yourself, because you can't give from an empty cup, or you can't really give from a toxic, nasty, unclean cup either, can you? So with that in mind, if you're feeling like people are taking from you, for example, one way to nourish yourself and give reciprocity to yourself is to set boundaries, is to get into the habit of setting boundaries. So you empty your dirty cup of people pleasing and no boundary relationships, and you fill it up with so much self-love that setting boundaries with other people comes easy. And I've talked about boundaries in other episodes, right? You can also give reciprocity to yourself by setting boundaries with yourself. For example, right now I'm in a season of purification in my life. I've been guided by my guides, by Great Spirit, to basically purify myself and purify every aspect of my life and clean my cup out. So what does that look like? For me, it's really every day being mindful at my physical surroundings. And if I need to spend a little extra time cleaning my apartment that I'm currently living in, then I do that, even if I think I have other things to do. If it means that I spend a little extra time taking a shower or taking a bath and doing my rituals that follow taking a shower, which is I do a lot of things, but I do myotherapy and I do stretches and things like that, because I know that by doing these exercises, even though they require a little bit of extra time, and I know sometimes that my distraction muscle wants to pull me away from that and do something else, but I know that those exercises and those stretches in the long run are going to be helpful. So again, this is about establishing a relationship with yourself where you are giving and reciprocating with yourself first. And then from there, or even simultaneously while you're working on this relationship with yourself, you can be more mindful and aware about how you are giving, taking, or matching with other people. This is actually one of my favorite subjects because it is a life-changing concept. It is a life-changing concept. And like my teacher says, back in ancient times, nobody would ever go to an elder or to their teacher and ask for guidance or ask for information and not offer something in return. So I invite you today, if you are thinking about ways of being, ways that you can elevate yourself that will help you basically manifest whatever you want in life, and you are not seeing the fruits of your labors, I invite you to consider reciprocity. It could show up as tithing, like giving a certain amount of your income to some kind of organization on a regular basis. It could be somebody just helped you in your yard. Your neighbor just came over and helped you in your yard, and maybe you make them an apple pie or something like that. It doesn't always have to be money. It could be that you give them something out of your garden, or you just made a big batch of tomato sauce and you canned it and you have 50 cans in your pantry. So you give them some of your homemade tomato sauce. People love that stuff. But I really invite you to look at your life after listening to this episode and see how you're showing up when it comes to reciprocating and being in the energy of exchange. Because chances are, for me personally, when I realized how I was showing up, it was really, really eye-opening, and it explained a lot of things about my life and why I wasn't manifesting what I desired. And again, I really want to drive home the idea that reciprocity is not something that you do because you want somebody to give you something back. Oftentimes, when you do it in that energy, it's going to backfire really quickly. And you don't want to be in that energy ever of expectation anyway, of expecting somebody else to do something, right? Because the only person that you can expect things from is yourself. So this is a pretty short episode today. I just wanted to mention this because I know a lot of people are trying to manifest. They're watching the YouTube videos, and they're following the experts on how they can manifest the life that they want. And what I'm seeing a lot of is you need to do this and do that, and you need to set your alarm at 5 a.m. and you need to work really hard. And yes, we live in 3D reality. So yes, we want to show up in our physical presence, and we need to do things in order to manifest. That is a big portion. Remember the be, do, have model. Who do you need to be? And what do you need to do in order to have? It's a matter of who do you need to be first. Do you need to be a person who's always expecting an exchange after you give somebody something? Or do you give with an open heart, not expecting, but you are staying in that energy and that vibration that is the highest and most beautiful vibration of the universe? That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. You can give by walking the streets and opening up your heart. Envision yourself opening up your heart and just smiling at everybody that you see. Or paying somebody a compliment at the store, at the person that is ringing you out at the store. So there's many, many ways to give. It doesn't have to be a thing, and it doesn't have to be money. But what's most important is that you're giving a part of yourself in the highest energy, in the highest frequency and vibration, without expectation, and you just let it go after it happens. You'll feel good. You'll feel on top of the world because you just helped somebody. You help brighten somebody else's day, but you leave it there. That's where it stays. Meaning when it comes to reciprocity, walk away from that experience thinking, oh, I just smiled at somebody. Maybe somebody will smile at me in 5 to 10 minutes. No, you let it go. And that is really the secret sauce when it comes to having the life that you want. Having basically anything that you want. And speaking of talking about what you want, there's another piece to that. When it comes to manifestation, when you are in the energy of wanting and desiring, like I know I said that many times in the podcast, but when you are in the energy of wanting and desiring something, you're actually distracting and you're blocking yourself from actually getting those things, because basically you're in the energy of wanting or desiring, which is a lower vibration. And it's also saying that you don't have those things yet. And it produces, trust me, as you know, it produces a lot of anxiety. It wastes, basically you're wasting your life force energy. You're wasting your chi on wanting something instead of knowing that it's already there. You just need to be a vibrational match for it. Does that make sense? So I wanted to add that part too, because so many people are like, yeah, I want my dream relationship, or I want that like Gucci bag. And they're spending too much of their life force energy wanting that. So much that basically the bag is literally passing you by, asking for you to grab it. But because you're so distracted in the energy of wanting and desiring that you basically miss the bus there. You miss the boat. While you are in the energy of inner peace and joy and love, all those high frequency emotions and being in reciprocity with yourself, with other people, and also with Mother Earth. I want to mention that too. Like if you're out on a hike and say you see something that you like, you see a flower that you're allowed to pick. I don't recommend picking wildflowers. So let's talk about something else. Say you're out hiking and you see a rock that you really love, or you're on the beach and you see a shell that you really love and you want to pick it up and bring it home. You ask Mother Earth, you ask the energy of that thing if it's okay for you to take it. And then ideally, you offer something in return. Either you offer, like you water the plant if you have a little bit of water in your water bottle, or you just express gratitude for that. You open your heart and you send love out as a result of Mother Earth giving you this very beautiful thing. You do something in exchange for that rock instead of just taking. So anyway, I hope that you find this helpful. I will let you know that implementing what I just talked about in this episode today has been life-changing, and also has really helped me understand the idea of detachment and letting go of expectations when it comes to getting what I desire in life, and just going with the flow, baby. I mean, seriously, just riding the wave and going with the flow and trusting that everything that you could ever desire is already there, so you don't have to worry about not having it. So I hope that you found this helpful. Please write me with any questions. I know there's people that are probably wondering, well, if I have no money, how am I supposed to be in the energy of abundance? And that is a really, really great question. It comes up all the time. And basically, it's a matter of just trusting. You work on this stuff like you would work on your physical body, like you're going to the gym. You know, if you work out, chances are you're working out 4 to 5 times a week or 3 times a week. You exercise these concepts like you would everything else. Same if you play an instrument. You know, if you want to be good, you got to practice. You practice this too. Nothing in life really can come without practicing it. You know, whether it's money management or communication. If it's something that you really want in life, chances are you need to practice it. So I know I said I was going to cut this off at 20 minutes, and here I am still blabbing away, but I am going to end this now. Please reach out to me on Instagram at i.am.angela.noel with any questions about this. Thank you so much for listening and for being a listener of my podcast. It's such a blessing to have this podcast and this platform, and I'm just forever grateful for all of you who listen and support. So until next time, remember to be radiant, be powerfully authentic, and know that you can reclaim your fire at any time. I love you. Goodbye. Hi, this is Angela Noel, and thank you so much for listening to this podcast. If you have found value in listening to this podcast, I would be so grateful if you could kindly share this podcast with those you care about. Please help me spread the word of empowerment and possibility and expansion by sharing this podcast. Or you could also leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Remember to follow me on Instagram at IamAngelaNoel, or you could go to my website at www.angelanoelinternational.com to learn more about my work and to find out how you can work with me. Thank you very much.